Welcome to the highest windmill in the wide area around Leiden. The current mill dates from the year 1743, as can be seen on a plaque on the wall, but the first wooden mill was built here in 1611. Once, the 29-meter high mill stood proudly above all buildings in the surrounding area. Let's take a look inside, where we find the only intact city miller's house in the Netherlands. The mill had to be high enough to catch the wind, and by building the miller's house under the mill, the space was used efficiently. In fact, we have to climb to the 4th floor to get to the mill. The 2nd and 3rd floor were once living rooms, but are now exposition rooms. The company started on the 4th floor, in the milling attic. Here the bags of flour were filled and quality was checked. Here we are in the stone attic, where you see the blade shaft turning, and below it 2 pairs of grinding stones. In each pair, the bottom one lies still, and the top one turns by the wind, grinding the grain. One of the 2 couples still works. But around 1850 no fewer than 4 couples were driven here by this blade shaft. On the top floor we find the attic, to where grain bags were lifted by the force of the wind, so that the miller could then have them ground in the millstones. And now that we know how the mill works, let's take a look outside. While you enjoy the beautiful view, you can still learn something. See that chain on the sprocket? This is used to turn the head of the windmill towards the wind direction. Now that we are so close, you will notice that being a miller was hard work, even in such an efficient mill like this one. Imagine that when you looked around here in 1700, there were about 14 other mills on the city walls. Nowadays this is the last original, because Mill Depot is a replica. The last miller of this mill died in 1964, and although his name was Van Rijn, he has never been able to prove family ties with the famous painter Rembrandt, who also comes from Leiden. Well, then one last fact on the way out. See those shutters on every floor? These were of course used to transport the flour to the carts waiting downstairs. And so the flour is ready for transport to the bakers in the area. Thanks for watching, and see you again in one of our next videos.